a little side note. If y'all see me looking over here and not over here, I'm used to doing live videos, so I'm used to like looking at the middle picture and not like where the actual camera is. So I'm just gonna have to work on it. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Leah, and this is my channel where I talk about fitness, life, and everything in between. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that are made in people who are just beginning their weight loss, their fat loss, their getting healthy journey, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't feel like I touched on this enough in my intro video. I have been on my own little weight loss journey, or I don't want to call it weight loss journey. I have lost weight, my own kind of healthy mind, healthy body journey since last year. And I want to put a little disclaimer here in the beginning of this video that the advice that I'm going to give you today is really based on my own personal experience. While I am a yoga teacher, I am a group fitness instructor, I'm working on getting, further education I need to share other things with you guys. Just know, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a healthcare professional, any of those things. So really most of this is just based on my own personal experience that I want to share with you guys, because like I did mention in my intro video, I really wish these were some things that I knew. I'm 30 now. I wish in my early 20s that I would have known these things, because it would have made it a lot easier on my body. And I did a lot of things that I thought were healthy that were pretty relatively unhealthy for my body. So really just want to share. That's my little disclaimer. So let's go ahead and get started. So mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is going from 0 to 100, right? And you're like, okay, what does that mean? So going 0 to 100, that means you're going from 0 to 100, or you're like relatively low activity and you're trying to do crazy HIIT workouts or whatever. You don't need to go from one extreme to the other. There is some middle ground there. So you can really start out by finding things that you actually like to do. So whether that's dancing, lifting weights, or if you actually do enjoy running, or you enjoy walking, kickboxing, there's a lot of things that you can find out there to do, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be like fitness related. It can be like hiking, walking. Start small and then like add the building blocks as you go. You don't need to just go crazy right out the gate. So then also, what does that look like on the nutrition side? So going 0 to 100 in the nutrition side, I see this all the time with people, and then also with myself. I really had this kind of like all or nothing mentality when it came to nutrition. And so I was eating like really, really bad. I don't want to say bad, really, really unhealthy, or just like treating my body like a garbage can. I was eating what sounded good and not nourishing my body and taking care of my body. And then I would move to the flip side, which was these super restrictive diets where I was restricting my calories and restricting my foods and not eating things that I enjoyed eating, and not being social and things like that. And it's just, you don't have to go from one extreme to the other, and you don't have to cut out entire food groups. You don't have to cut all your carbs, or cut all fats, or cut all sugar, and have no desserts. And you don't have to do that to be healthy. You don't have to do that to lose weight. You don't have to do that to lose fat. It doesn't have to be that extreme. Again, just making those small changes little by little. So like drinking more water, eating more vegetables. Instead, if you're eating like 3,000 calories a day, instead of going from a 3,000 calorie diet and then trying to cut it all the way down to 1,200 calories, you're going to wreck your metabolism. Please do not do that. Please. A lot of people use MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is great for tracking and stuff, but I don't like that it gives people unrealistic kind of calorie goals, and it sets you up for failure before you've even started. Because, you know, if you go from eating 3,000 calories a day to eating like 1,200 calories, you're going to be like, man, I'm starving, you know, and then you're just setting yourself up for a binge. But anyway, I digress. This 0 to 100 mentality is that it is going to burn you out fast. And when it comes to weight loss or fat loss or just living a healthy lifestyle in general, you really need to choose something that is sustainable for you, sustainable for your lifestyle, sustainable for your body. You don't want to like torture yourself mentally and physically just to like get a better body. Just throw that out the window and try to just use your common sense. We know the vegetables are better. We know we need to be drinking water. We know what nourishes our body and what doesn't. That doesn't mean that we can't indulge or treat ourselves occasionally, but we know what's good for our body. So anyway, moving on to mistake number 2. And that is, this is like real personal to me, y'all. And this kind of goes along with the nutrition thing and that all or nothing mentality. Is I made a big mistake of eating whatever I wanted and thinking that I could work it off in the gym. And this is where there's like just a tiny bit of an issue with the calories in, calories out kind of mentality. And that's because it can be really unhealthy. When your calories in, calories out mentality, okay, so the basic principles behind losing weight, right, is that your energy out has to be more than your energy in. So you need to be burning more calories than you're eating to lose weight or to lose fat. Okay, we know that. So my thought process was, I can eat these nachos. I can eat this pizza. I can drink this soda. And I'll just work it off all at the gym. So when I was like 19 years old and I lived in Northern California, I was single. I would get off. I worked a job that was like 7:30 to like 4 p.m. I would get off work and I would go to 24-hour fitness, and y'all, I would spend 3 hours in the gym. I would do weights, I would do cardio, and I would swim in the pool. 3 hours. 3 hours. And I was having to spend 3 hours in the gym because I was treating my body like a garbage can. Goodness. Okay. So back to point number 2, which was thinking I could eat whatever I wanted and just work it off at the gym. And this is such a toxic, just awful mentality, because while it is true, I was very much so what people call skinny fat. And while I looked healthy, it was a perfect example of looking healthy on the outside, but I was not healthy on the inside. And that was really coming out in a lot of my medical problems that I started to have very early on when I was younger, which was I started to get like crazy migraines and was very stressed out. My anxiety was just very bad, and I really do think that has a lot to do with what I was fueling my body with. I really got caught in this cycle of binge eating and exercising, binging and exercising, and I didn't really know at the time. And I'm going to elaborate further in like a story time video, I think, about my experience with this eating disorder, because that's really what it was. I didn't realize at the time. I was like, well, if I'm not throwing up, I'm not purging, but that's not true. You can definitely binge on food and then purge with exercise, which is just as unhealthy. You're just not ruining your esophagus. So I'm gonna elaborate further on that in a story time video. So if you guys would be interested in that, go ahead and comment below and let me know that you would be interested in hearing a little bit more about that, because I really think that it's more common than people like to admit. And really at the time I didn't even realize that it was unhealthy or what I was doing to my body. So I think it would be really important for me to kind of share my story on that. Another problem that kind of came up with that kind of binging and purging and exercising and eating whatever I wanted and just thinking that I could exercise the calories away, was not only an unhealthy relationship with food, but a big issue with overtraining. So nobody should be spending 3 hours in the gym. That is way too much time. I would say like max, you should be spending like an hour and a half in the gym. And that's kind of like if you're like moseying around, you know what I mean? 3 hours in the gym is insane. Don't do that. That's overtraining your body and you're more susceptible to injury. And like I said, back to point number one, it's not sustainable and you're not going to be able to do it forever. You might be able to do it at 19 years old like I did, but you'll eventually run out of energy. Okay. So that brings us to point number 3, which is a big mistake. Okay. Point number 3, or mistake number 3, is not doing any cardio. So I want to do a little myth busting right now, and I know this is gonna like ruffle some people's feathers, because I feel like every single in fitness influencer out there on Instagram or YouTube will all tell you like, oh, you don't need to do any cardio. I barely do any cardio. All I do is lift weights and look at my perfect body, you know? Well, I'm here to tell you that what works for one person might not work for another, okay? Me, case in point. So for me, honestly, just trial and error with my own body, I actually burn more fat and I lose more weight when I am doing a conjunction of both, or like multiple things. So I do weightlift. I love weightlifting. And I've actually had people ask me, like literally come up to me and ask me, and some are students of mine, have come up to me and asked me, how did you get your, this is gonna sound, how did you get your peach to look the way that it does? I'm gonna say peach because I don't want YouTube to like, I don't know, YouTube sensitive. So honestly, my answer always is, it's a little bit of genetics, I'll be honest with you. And then it's also a lot of weight training. I've been weight training for like over 10 years. You do need to lift weights and you do need to have progressive overload. But if you want to burn fat after you build that muscle, or even before you build that muscle, you have to do cardio, okay? Do some freaking cardio. So all those people are like, you don't have to do cardio. Now, I am not saying you have to run. I don't run. I'm not saying you have to like spend 3 hours in the gym, okay? So what this brings me to is I really find that I've really found that the best cardio for me is LISS. So that is low intensity or moderate intensity steady state cardio. So what does this look like? It can be walking, it could be the elliptical, and really you're doing this anywhere from like 30 to 60 minutes a day. So for me personally, I walk 2 miles every single morning fasted, and that's actually something that I started doing as an experiment for a video, so look out for that video. That'll be coming up, where I walk 30 days, walk 2 miles for 30 days, and I took my measurements and everything. So that video will be coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just walk every day, and then I also cycle a little bit, because I have a cycling bike in my garage. So it doesn't have to be anything super intense, but I personally have found, and you guys will see that when I come out with that walking video, I really wanted to do it. I've already seen results. Now, they're not quantitative results because I didn't take measurements, I didn't do all those things, but I noticed a difference. I felt leaner, I could tell that I did lose weight, because I did weigh myself. I don't weigh myself often. I don't have a good relationship with the scale, if I'm being honest. But I'm really doing that video so that you guys can see really what a difference just implementing that low intensity steady state cardio does, because everybody thinks that you have to do HIIT cardio. And yes, HIIT cardio will burn more calories in a shorter period of time, but it doesn't mean that it burns more calories, because you could do 15 minutes of HIIT and then you could do 60 minutes of LISS and still burn more calories in the 60 minutes of LISS because you went further. Like, you may have done more miles, or you not as big of an intensity, but you're doing more work, and more work equals more calories. Another reason that LISS is really great, especially if you're starting out, is that it's very low impact. So if you're walking or you're doing the elliptical or anything like that, or even, using the stair stepper, and you're doing that low to moderate intensity, it's going to be way better for you if you're starting out, especially if you're like me. When I started, I was easily like 40 pounds, kind of pushing almost 50 pounds overweight. For my height, I'm only 5'4". So even me, when I started, I was a little bit over. Are you kidding me right now? Y'all, I can't make this stuff up. My little hair bow just broke. What the fuck? Come on. I can't catch a break today. I can't catch a break. Now I gotta go get another hair bow. I was on a roll. Okay, where was I? This is unwashed hair, y'all. Can't you tell? What a pain in the butt. Okay, so getting back down to business. We were talking about LISS. So low intensity steady state cardio is going to be good for those people that are just now starting out, because if you are, like a good 40 to 50 pounds plus overweight, like I said, I used to be a runner, and so when I first started back working out, I was like, oh, let's go for a run, why not? Yeah, that's a great idea. Y'all, my knees hurt so bad, and I thought, I have some autoimmune issues, so I thought it was my autoimmune issues. I even talked to my friend Kaylee about it, and I was like, girl, my knees hurt, and I don't know if it's like because I'm taking this elderberry supplement, because it can actually like ramp up autoimmune problems, and I like to play around with supplements, because really having a good supplement regime has helped my autoimmune problems so much. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, my knees hurt so bad, and so I just decided from there I was going to start walking. And then the more research and the more I looked into it, and then, just doing it myself and seeing the results, I'm like, I actually feel like walking has been more beneficial for me than running, and it doesn't kill my joints. Moving on to mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is winging it. And what do I mean by winging it? So, a lot of people will go into the gym and they don't have a plan, they're not following a program, and I used to be one of these people. Even when I would go into the gym and work out for like 3 hours, it's probably how I spent 3 hours in there. I just moseyed around because I had no plan. So follow a plan, follow a program. Even if you don't follow somebody else's program, before you step foot into a gym, or before you before you say, oh, I'm going to work out tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If you wake up at 6 a.m. and you don't have a plan, you're probably very unmotivated. You know what I mean? You're not and you don't know what you're doing, and It's just better. It's better if you have a plan. Specifically, I'm going to move into the next point under this mistake, and that is if you're following a program, you're more likely to have some sort of progressive overload going on. And what I mean by progressive overload is your body loves to adapt. Our body really loves like homeostasis. It wants to stay where it's at. It doesn't want to starve. It doesn't want to use extra energy. So it's going to do whatever it can to stay where it's at. And so if you want to keep building muscle, or you want to lose that fat, or you want to lose that weight, you have to have some type of progressive overload. So with weightlifting, that can be adding more weight. You can add more reps. You can have less rest in between reps. If you're not doing weight training, you can add more resistance to whatever you're doing. So if you're on the stair stepper and you're at a speed of like 3, you can go up to like a speed of 5. Or if you're on the elliptical, you can add more resistance. If you're on the treadmill, you can add more of an incline. There's got to be some kind of next level to the challenge. You can't go into the gym every day and do the same thing over and over again. Your body's going to adapt. You're going to hit a plateau, and you're not going to lose weight or fat or build muscle without progressive overload. And most people don't know how to properly program their own workouts to include progressive overload. So that's why in the beginning, I highly suggest that you follow some type of program that is already out there that has some type of progressive overload to it. So for me personally, like way back in the day, I used to follow some programs from Emily Skye. I really like her. I think she's still around. I don't really follow her stuff anymore. And then there's another girl that I found through Instagram, and it was because she had lost like 50 pounds. Maybe more than that. I don't want to sell her short, but she looks amazing. And she also has BPD like I do, which I will share that in later videos, but it kind of like, linked us together. It made me feel like she was very relatable, and I ended up choosing one of her programs. So maybe you can find somebody who does that same kind of thing for you. Anyway, I did not mention her name. Her name is Mari Lewin, and I think her website is Mari Easy Fitness or something like that. I'll link it below if you guys want to check it out. But I have done 3 of her guides, and I love her stuff. And even me, as like somebody who teaches fitness, I like to follow other people's programs, literally just to like spice up my own workout. It's always good to like mix it up, basically, which is another reason that I do so many different kinds of workout. I love kickboxing. I love cycling. It's really offering like a different kind of challenge to your body. Some stuff's going to work fast twitch muscles. Some's going to work slow twitch muscles. Some's going to work your endurance and your cardio, while other things will work your strength, So you just really kind of want to diversify yourself, making sure that you're getting in that progressive overload. And the best way to do that is to follow a program, have a plan, and don't just wing it. So the last and 5th final mistake is not being consistent. And this is not being consistent in your diet. And again, I say this as diet meaning food you eat, not as in an actual diet. So for example, like back when I said like I would go from one extreme to the other, I would super restrict myself for like 2 months, and then I'd be like, okay, the jig is up. I'm going to eat a whole pizza. So that's not being consistent, obviously. Whereas if I would have just been like, okay, I'm going to eat good these weeks, or good, I'm going to eat healthy and nourish my body, but you know what, I'm going to treat myself with some pizza on Saturday or whatever, versus like, after those 2 months just falling completely off the wagon, and I would go on a crazy binge for like at least probably like a good week, and then I would kind of eat normal, and then I would super restrict, and it was just like this crazy cycle, I don't mean to go back to what I've already explained, but that's just a big part of being consistent. And really what's going to feed into being consistent is that sustainability. So if you choose to make changes within your life that are more sustainable, then you're more likely to be more consistent with your diet, with your exercise, or anything that you're trying to implement so that you can have a healthier life. This also highly relates to being very impatient with results. I feel like, have you guys ever seen those memes where it's like, okay, I ate one salad, why am I not skinny? Right? And I feel like that's very prevalent in our society today, is like people want instant gratification, they want it now, and that's not the way it works. Some people do drop weight pretty fast, but for me personally, when I started kind of really intentionally on this journey last year in May, from May to now, I've only lost to me it's a big deal. Some people might not because they've lost more weight, but I've lost about 22 pounds and kept it off. So I feel like we see a lot of things that set kind of unrealistic expectations. Not everybody loses 20 pounds in 2 months. Some people it takes an entire year. And then especially the closer that you are, so I was at 180 pounds, and I think like more of like an ideal weight for my height is like 140 probably. Maybe a little less, but maybe not for me because I do carry a lot of muscle. I do have a lot of muscle mass. At this point, I'm really just trying to lose body fat because I have a pretty decent muscle mass. Anyway, I digress. But even just, that 40-pound difference, the closer that you get to that more ideal weight, that weight that your body wants to be at, the harder it's going to be to lose weight. The closer you get, the harder it's going to be to lose weight or to lose body fat. And you'll see you lose body fat in your arms and your legs first, and your midsection's always last because your body's trying to hold on to that fat so that it can pad your organs and keep you safe and keep you alive, because that's what your body's trying to do, keep you alive. So it's okay, back to being impatient with results. It's not going to happen overnight. You just have to be consistent. The time's going to pass anyway, and really the only difference is what you do with that time that passes. Really commit to that lifestyle change, because that is what it is. It's a lifestyle change. So you really want to make those changes in your life that are going to help you have not only a healthy body but a healthy mind. And that does it for my 5 mistakes that I personally made, that I personally saw that I wasn't making the progress that I wanted to make. And this is not over just the past year, but over the past 10 years. And again, I think I've mentioned this, that I've said to my husband, I'm like, man, if only I knew back then what I know now. I feel like I could be so much further, but that's okay, and we have to be grateful for where we're at in this moment. And I hope that you all can take my sincere advice to heart, and I hope that if it helps just one person, then I'm happy that I shared it with y'all today. Please like and comment below if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see y'all next time. Bye.